First of all, you can't intimidate.
I agree.
Okay,
I can't intimidate
you can't intimidate, and I will not allow you to
Here's
intimidate
the
me.
problem, like, we were thrown out of here. No, hold on, let me speak.
No one threw you out.
We were told that the sheriff was coming.
That's right, we did.
And we were
That's
told
what
we
we're
were
supposed to do.
told we were harassing and intimidating. All I did was ask this nice gentleman here if he had credentials.
That's not your job to do that.
When I see somebody who is
That's
clearly not identified,
Wait a minute, first of all, that's not
serving
your,
as an election
that's
judge,
not your
it's a
job.
legitimate question.
That's not your job to do
right
that.
there.
No?
That's not your job to do
It's
that.
not my job.
You're not
You
getting
do
paid
very
to do
carefully.
that.
That's
I'm
your
not getting
job
paid
to
at
do
all.
right
I'm
there.
volunteer.
we're not
You
doing
two
that.
need
No,
to wait.
hold what?
Please, just let me talk,
Okay,
okay? If you will, I appreciate it. So we don't get confused. Right. That's all.
And he also mentioned that as a Democrat inspector, he can deem under his authority, under his discretion, who is being disruptive and who is not. So
Please,
basically,
if there's a question you want him to ask me, I'll speak for myself.
I
don't need no one else to interpret for me. I have no problem with it.
Okay, well, how then what did I explain to him?
Just
Any
tell
of
him
that
what
he
you
said?
just tell him what you want him to ask me if he wants to ask me a question. I'd be more than happy to answer the question.
Actually, I was just talking to him.
Okay. I'm just simply saying that.
But anyway, so that's the case. We just want to make sure we've got poll watchers in there that aren't being intimidated, and if they are under, they have every legal authority to, if they see someone without credentials, to make sure that they are credentialed. That's why they're here for.
In our position,
Or at least to ask the inspector whether they are credentialed.
what I said to you is that I'm not sure that that's true. If you got that information, because what we interpret, you do not have that authority to do that. You do not have the authority to come in and question credentials for individuals. You don't have that authority. That's not your authority. That's the inspector's responsibility.
Okay.
That's their authority to do that.
I'll let the lawyers.
Okay.
I'll let the lawyers.
Well, I guess what we could do is if we could talk to the inspector and try to find out if everybody that's been assisting people at the votes was a credentialed judge. Because we had some information that there was an individual who was acting while one of the judges was away as a deputy inspector. And I don't know that such a thing would be an existence here such that they would be able to assist somebody with their vote.
I think that if that's the issue that the watchers made a note of, I think after the election, if he chooses to make a note of that, that's fine.
But after the election, when the votes are tallied, it's too late. That's why we're stopping any fraudulent activity from happening.
So, hey, no
I don't
fraudulent
know if
activity
it's
here. What are you talking about? Fraudulent activity?
Well,
We
possible.
don't do that.
I
First
used
of
to
all,
love
that's
it.
against the law. And we don't violate the law here.
Well,
Now, you might interpret it to be, but we don't violate the law here.
I'm just interpreting the law with the Secretary of State.
Well,
let me ask this.
You got to understand. You can have two lawyers who disagree on an issue. The lawyer would tell you that. Just because you say something does not mean that it's true. That's your interpretation of the law. Am I right, sir?
well, my interest right now is I have watcher credentials. I'm wondering if I can go and talk with the inspector.
You most certainly can.
Okay.
And if you got proper credentials, identification indicates that that name on that credential is you. Okay. Put your driver's license in there. Then I'll go and see talk to the inspector.
All right, where is the inspector, please?
Okay. But I think the inspector has indicated that because of your action, they don't want you back in the post.
Are you speaking for the inspector?
I said that the inspector have indicated that.
the inspector
she was
who
intimidating
wanted to
them.
call the
She was
sheriff
intimidating you?
on me for
on,
asking
sir.
for somebody's identity
Sir, are you going in?
who had none.
Was that? No, I'm going to stay out here for a second. I'm going to stay out here for a second.
I'm gonna go in too. Do you want to see this or just show it to you?
I got to run and grab my key in my car, but it's surprising that you were being accused of intimidating.
No one has accused that young lady of intimidating anybody.
Oh, good. So I'm not
No one has
intimidating.
accused that young lady of intimidating anybody. I indicated to you 2 or 3 times. I don't know why you keep trying to put words in people's mouths. I indicated this young lady can't intimidate me.
Then she can go in.
You know, that's not what I said either.
We're not talking about you. We're talking about what the inspector said.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
She accused us of intimidating. She then had somebody call the
But
sheriff.
you should have stuck around till the sheriff got here and let the sheriff determine who's right and who's wrong.
Well-
That's what the law enforcement is for. Not for you to go and get a man with a camera and think that that's going to intimidate us.
I'm not trying to.
Intimidate me.
I'm not trying to intimidate you.
Well,
I'm trying to make sure that there's a fair election here.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's been one going on here ever since I've been a precinct committee person for the last 40 years.
I would respectfully
It's been fair.
disagree with you from what I saw today.
Well,
We'll leave it at that.
well, that's right. That's your opinion.
It is my opinion. You're right.
He wants to be. He wants to be. He wants to be. Carry on like a tough guy.
Well, I'm not.
He's
You
got
know.
two small kids. This man does not want to be intimidated.
Yeah, and I
Well,
got
look at
two-
this kid's trying to
And
get
I got
dessert
two,
twice.
I got 2 grandkids, and so that's why I'm saying he does not intimidate me.
And I'm not trying to.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't think I am.
I'm the one that you first came to when you came here,
I understand that.
and took you in without any question, introduced you to the inspector. Then next time I turn around, you in the middle of the floor arguing with the inspector.
Well, that's not what happened, but that's certainly, as you say, you're entitled
You were in the
to your
middle of the
opinion.
floor arguing with the inspector. I know that part.
We went to
I know what I
introduce-
saw.
We went to introduce ourselves to the Republican election judge, and we were confronted by someone who has no identification, shouldn't be here, and we're told you can't talk to the Republican election judge. That's what happened.
I don't know nothing about all that.
No, you weren't there.
Yeah, okay.
So you really can't speak to that, can you?
I'm not trying to speak to it either.
You're making stuff up, is what you're doing.
Yeah. No, I'm just letting you know that you can't come over here and with this gentleman here who indicates he's from the press, and that we're gonna get down. No, that's not gonna happen here. Doesn't bother us. Not at all.
Obviously.
You know, we're gonna follow. We're gonna do what's right. We've been doing it for a number of years, and we know what that is. And that is to allow people to vote without interference. And we're not going to let you come in
I don't
here.
believe there has been any interference.
We're not going to let you come in here and interfere, and nobody else.
We haven't interfered.
You know.
Not at all. Not
That's
at
your
all.
opinion. But I know I can.
No,
I
that's
can,
a fact.
I can produce a number of people more than you who will testify.
Well, of
that
course,
you came in.
they'll
That's
lie.
right.
Of course they're going to
Yeah.
lie. People who don't
Yeah.
have proper credentials and identification,
Yeah.
when I ask them for that and they refuse to show it to me, of course they're going to say, I'm intimidated, interfering.
Listen to what you just said.
But that would be a lie.
Listen to what you just said. Who are you to come to G317?
I'll tell you. I'll answer
You know,
your question. Here's
who
who
are
I
you?
am. I'm a poll watcher. And I wanted to talk to the Republican election judge
And
and
you-
was denied that
and you-
opportunity.
you should-
And I saw someone who isn't credentialed,
Come on in.
has no identification, take the place of that election judge and stand over people as they're voting, which is inappropriate.
You show me-
And when I asked that person for identification,
Okay,
I wasn't given
you
proper
show me
credentials.
where someone has.
That's what happened.
Okay, you show me where someone has given you authority as a poll watcher to come into a poll and make people produce identification.
the Indiana law.
Show it to me.
Well, there's 2 lawyers in there who are showing it to the inspector.
Show it to me. Show it to me.
Let me ask you a question. Show me the law that says people without credentials and identification can serve as election judges.
I'm not trying to prove anything to you.
No, but it's a fair question, isn't it?
I'm not-
You're questioning me, and I have proper credentials, and you won't answer my question about why somebody who has no ID is serving as an election judge and coaching them as they vote.
I'm simply saying to you, show me where you have the authority to come from wherever you come from.
I just told you the Indiana
Come
law.
here.
You show me
And-
where you have the authority to have somebody who has no identification to do what happened.
I don't make this decision. Anybody be anywhere.
The law does. The Indiana law does.
But I surely
Well,
know
I'm
that
sure
you
it'll get
can't
I'm
come-
sure it'll get sorted out later.
Yeah.